So I just met a few actual billionaires, and what I expected to learn versus what I actually did learn are two wildly different things. So, first, I expected them to live an incredibly luxurious lifestyle. You fly on your private jet to your second home in Park City, then you go back to your house in St. Bart's or whatever. Just get on your 40-foot yacht and do all of these things because that is what one would do if they had that much money, a literal $1 billion that it would be virtually impossible to run out of. Have a bunch of supercars and all this stuff. But nobody on St. Bart's is driving around in supercars. Well, that's also because of the way that the roads are set up. But one of the guys that I was talking to, he literally just rode a quad around. He didn't care about a house at all. He would be fine living on the sand, but his wife obviously wants a living quarters. So he just is renting like a little shack smaller than the Airbnb that I was staying in. It is crazy. It is absolutely crazy. And I was asking him, why the hell are you staying in this when you could literally afford any place on the island? He's like, Josh, it's just a place to live. I don't care. It's money is meaningless. Uh, I'm already doing what I want to do every single day. I like to go out for lunch and dinner and kind of hang out with my buddies here and talk finance and macro. I don't care. I just want a peaceful life. And then he subtly dropped that he's like, I used to meet all the presidents of all the countries back in the day. I would fly 300 times a year. He's like, once you fly on a private jet that many times and do all these things, it loses its shine. He was like, yeah, it's fun, but who the hell cares? He was like, I'm honestly, a lot of the times I just fly not even first class back to he does have another house in Park City, but he just flies back, not even first class, just coach going back. Imagine going on a plane, sitting next to someone. I mean, this guy, he always dresses like he's quasi homeless, but imagine knowing that, hey, the guy that I'm sitting next to is a billionaire and he could be flying on a private jet, but he's not even in first class. And then he's like, I don't need the money. And he just said, making money is just so easy for me. So he said he'll take any risk that he wants. What he likes doing is talking finance and just making still 100% a year returns on his portfolio because he's so damn good. And that's what he likes to do. So then he was telling me a story that, hey, a few years back, I was thinking of starting some sort of startup and I put $50 million into it. But, I got bored and went to zero. Oh, I almost shit my pants when he said that. But then he was like, for me, making money's so easy. I am going to make that right back if I wanted to. So there's a weird phenomenon where if money is super easy to make, there is no reason to want it. And so then he was saying, you can't judge anybody based upon how much money you make. He said, for me, for example, I have more money than the world, but I didn't do anything extra to deserve that. He was like, I was born with a special gift where I can understand this stuff incredibly easily. Incredibly easily. So why would I judge somebody who's poor because they don't think the same way I do? I thought that was a profound statement because I see a lot of people on social media who are flexing their Lamborghinis or such, literally thinking they are better than other people because they have more money. But this guy, he hangs out with a few of his buddies who are super rich, but then him and his wife usually just go out with a lot of the workers because that's kind of his crowd. That's who he likes to hang out with. So I thought that was fascinating. But then everyone that I met, and this was actually something because this guy, he said about 100 leaders of 100 different countries when he used to be working and about all the celebrities and stuff like that. And I said, what differentiates those types of people? Is there a common characteristic trait? He said, common characteristic trait, no, but they are all 4 standard deviation people. And I was like, okay, what does that mean? He said, well, they're in the 0.1% of society in some aspect of their life or just some personality trait that they have. Because by definition, to become a leader of a country, let's say America, you would have to beat 300 million other people to get that role. So there has to be a characteristic trait that sets you very far apart from normality to want something like that, but then also to be able to achieve it. Not just being smarter, he said. Sometimes it is very, very different with an ethical standpoint where you will do anything to get what you want. He said some of these leaders were the most disgusting, low life humans he's ever met in his entire life. And I was not surprised by that necessarily because to become a leader of a country, you have to just backpack and backstab off of anybody that you are running against. But when he puts that into perspective, when he's actually met a lot of these guys, was just remarkable. But he said everybody. And then we were with dinner with another guy. He's like, take this guy, for example. This guy's a 4 standard deviation person. He's a fucking weirdo. He's a weirdo. I mean, this guy that he was talking about is insane. But then he has two $50 million houses on the island. Uh, so he was basically saying that almost all super, super, super successful people that he's met are 4 standard deviation people because if you are normal, you are going to want and get normal things. It takes somebody who is incredibly unnormal to achieve the kind of things that these guys are achieving because you can't think like other people because you have to solve problems that they don't think. And then he said, even me, for example, he's like, I'm a pretty normal guy, but if you met me during my hedge fund days, pretty much everyone thinks I have Asperger's. He said, I can do any math in my head. It doesn't matter. Anything. I can do everything in my head. And I can figure things out that other people can't figure out. So he said there's different ways to be a 4 standard deviation person, but every single person that he's met had one of those characteristics to where they are at the far end of the extreme as to some aspect of their characteristic traits that sets them apart from other people. The other guy that he was talking to, he's just crazy. Like he's literally he's crazy. So I thought that was very interesting. And I was trying to think, oh, I was thinking, am I a 4 standard deviation person? And I was being honest, no, I'm definitely not. Uh, I'm I don't think I'm necessarily normal, but like the other guys that he was talking about, I just don't think so. And then another thing, you always have to think bigger. I made a video about this a while ago. There was one guy who I've been friends with who used to run a billion-dollar company, and I was asking him for business advice. This is the singular smartest guy I've ever met in my entire life, period. No one's even close. He's literally playing like 7-dimensional chess, 700 moves in advance at all times. It's ridiculous. That guy's like a 5 standard deviation person. But I remember calling him up and I was asking him for advice, and he was saying, Josh, what you're doing right now is too small. If it can't make $1 billion, it's not worth your time. And then I kind of grew that and I was like, shit, well, this isn't worth my time anymore. So I kind of stopped doing that. But this guy said, with what I'm currently doing, you can't make $1 billion from that. He's like, I don't understand it too well, but I don't think that's like, he said, yeah, maybe you can make 10, $100 million a month, but I mean, 10, $100 million a year. He said, that's great money, but then you make $1 billion from it. And for him, that kind of justifies if it's worth his time or not. So he steadily dissed me. And I was thinking, well, first I have to make $1 million before I have to worry about $1 billion. And I don't think I'd be ready or able because I don't have the skill set to jump right into $1 billion business. So everyone's at a different stage. But all of the characteristics of these guys, they all, the ones that have really made it, the only thing that's worth their time now is, hey, can this make me $1 billion? And if not, it's not worth my time. So fuck, that puts it into perspective. Also, now I'm in the Bahamas at the Grand Hyatt Nassau for an event that costs $50,000 a year to go to. So now I'm excited to share my little weekend journey going here. They have 4 events a year. It's $50,000. I get to go because I work with the people who own it. So I have to get going to that. this is another incredible opportunity stacked on an incredible opportunity. These guys are very different from the St. Bart's billionaires because these guys are still hardcore trying to grow their business. They are laser focused, trying to grow, 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 grow. And I love that because that's the same situation I'm in. St. Bart's, those guys had already made it and they just want to chill out, have a peaceful life now. They've already lived the billionaire lifestyle. So this is an event where there'll be much more actionable advice and actionable business opportunities. Last night we had a cocktail party and I did have another business opportunity. Someone I was talking to and I kind of shrugged him off. He was like, "Yeah, I just bought a few med spas and I need this done with it." And I was like, "Oh," he's like, "That's right in your skill set." And I said, "Yeah, but that's not really something I'm interested in." And then he told me the person that it's with. And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 whoa. Wait a minute. You're working with them? I would absolutely love to help you with that." And I just thought that was funny because I was kind of shrugging him off. Yeah, like that's small time. I don't want to do it. But then he was working with someone that's like mega famous in the space because, of course, because he's a badass. But uh, there will be a lot more actionable advice that I receive this week. And so I will be exciting to share that journey. Soul Love Base actually gave me the idea for this video. So thank you very much. That was actually pretty badass. So we'll see you on the next one.